Hey up lads and lasses, Damphyre here, back again with some more Infinite Lagrange. Now I haven't done one of these for a while and I'm going through sort of a mechanism update for the game off the website. I sometimes do the patches and stuff, but the patches recently haven't been too interesting. I will mention is the one where they've added the ability for you to like copy a build. When I get a bit more time, and any of my gold ships, I will make a copy and I will attach that because I think you can do it via just like copy paste from in-game and out of game. So I'll be copying what I've got set up and I'll be pasting them in the relevant ship guide videos that I have done once I get a bit more time. So you can easily access how I set up my ships. So yeah, there you go. Other than that, though, we have this one, and it's kind of, well, what can I say? They listened. It looks like they're gonna fix anti-air on ships, which is just massive. So I've had a glance through this. I haven't had a full read through it, so I was waiting to record to have a full read through it. I just sort of scrolled through, saw a picture, went, oh, they fixed it. And then, so yeah, we'll actually go through it now to see if they've actually fixed it or not. But yeah, battle mechanism update and pilot server feature preview. Dear explorers, greetings. To introduce a much more enriched battle strategic experience, we will commence an update on the battle mechanism very soon. In this update, we will open up the pilot server to let explorers have an early experience with the updated content. So we're going to get a little bit of a test server. Meanwhile, we will gather more data and feedback and actively listen to explorers' suggestions to increase the game experience for all explorers. I got one that's come up recently regarding AP and Mega Alliances, and it's just completely broken. So I'm going to be bringing that up with them to either stop reinforcement of ults and that kind of thing, because it's ridiculous trying to fight 45 T-800s in a single fleet, or Mega Alliances that will purposely try and waste AP out on a smaller enemy and then rotate unions around. Like, Mega Alliances need to go in this game, in my opinion. But, that's been my opinion for over a year now, like year and a half. Battle mechanism. We strive to construct a realistic space combat experience that follows the law of physics in the Lagrange network, and we want to introduce every explorer to the realistic and highly strategic battle experience. We plan to introduce the following mechanism to the current battle. Lock-on efficiency mechanism. For the reciprocal aircraft, they only become the target of anti-aircraft weapons when they are attacking. This is like one of the main points of the game, is you have all these AA ships, but like 90% of them, actually like 99% with the exception of the Xenode anti-air defense, all of them are counter-attack. And it's a massive problem because unless they're getting shot, they don't do very much AA. There are some exceptions there. Like I said the Xeno, the Merti Pulse can hold down the back row for you, or the mid row. I think it's better in the back row though, because I think it gets bonuses there. And there's a couple of ships that can sort of lock down a row a little bit, and they do surprisingly well when they actually work. Like, I've seen Merti Pulses hitting 90,000 anti-aircraft damage in sort of respectable amount of time. I've seen Xeno Stingers hitting over 100,000 in respectable amount of time. But again, there are caveats to using them in the first place. So hopefully this will fix the problem of having like a winged hussar AA. That should be, being able to attack everything. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. So anyway, this setting doesn't meet our expectations of ship's anti-aircraft capability. We think the anti-aircraft weapon should actively respond to the action taken by the aircraft, and different anti-aircraft weapons should have different target locking capabilities with different strengths. To better describe the differences and to enrich the battle strategy, we will introduce the concept of lock-on efficiency to endow anti-aircraft weapons with the ability to lock onto flying targets in advance. Accordingly, we will revolve around this new idea of lock-on efficiency to add various traits and sit in terms of aircraft's attack and defense abilities based on their design characteristics, such as enhancements, electronic jamming, and stealth abilities, giving them a much better countermeasure to the active target locking of anti-aircraft weapons. So it looks like we're not only just going to get maybe a bit of a buff to the anti-aircraft weapons, maybe some of the jamming and the stealth abilities on some ships are going to get reworked or changed a bit. Stealth on the Stingray, for example, might get changed around a little bit. The Vetus B's got a little bit of stealth as well. Obviously, the SC002 and the Balancer Anderson, we've got electronic jamming systems there. So, yeah. So this is currently how it works. The Strix, in this case, attacks a ship. The anti-aircraft weapon fires back at the Strix. The added anti-aircraft targeting mechanism is pre-targeting the aircraft, so targeting before potentially the aircraft are even out of hangar, which would be interesting. That might be a little bit too much, but we'll have to see. Or heading to attack and the anti-aircraft weapons already firing upon it. I wonder if this means, though, that how it was originally working passively was the anti-aircraft weapons weren't attacking until the ship was hit, and then it would attack back. And in this case, it just means, well, the aircraft's going to hit his ship, so now it's shooting it. So it's still a counter attack, but it's like a preemptive counter attack, if you know what I mean. We'll have to see how they work that in, because it could be good, maybe not. Fighter characteristics 1. There's a picture here of a missile and something, and it says stealth coating, and the other one saying quick breakthrough. These don't really explain what's going on there whatsoever, in my opinion. Albeit, I'm not entirely sure how you'd do that. Maybe it's because it's closer, or it's already on the attack run because of the stealth coating. That could be it. Quick breakthrough. I'm guessing that's some kind of rapidly attack a certain thing, afterburner towards it. I don't know. Introducing flight time mechanism to aircraft. In the current state of the game, we use a stat CD cooldown on the primary weapon on reciprocal aircraft to describe a series of complicated process of them returning to the target location, finishing the weapon fitting in the hangar, and heading back to the target location. You don't call that CD, you call that RTB. Literally states on all of the carriers, RTB. Might want to check that. We realised that such an oversimplified definition would make it difficult for explorers to understand the combat style of reciprocal aircraft. At the same time, to simulate the logic behind the work logic behind the aircraft more accurately, we have dissected them into the flight time stage and weapon refitting stage. The introduction of flight time expanded the application of aircraft's attack and defense capabilities, as well as the stealth abilities. Accordingly, on the premise of maintaining aircraft importance during the battle, we have made an overall adjustment to the system enhancement options related to CD. So now we can see the flying time. We've got 12 seconds out of 6 seconds. I'm guessing that's what that refers to. A unit of reciprocal aircraft, the time required for traveling back and forth between target and carrier, shown as the outbound time / inbound time. And this is where you can kind of see, will be able to see why bombers and the such really struggle in strikes to actually deal any meaningful damage. And I'm sure you will see this flying time on the likes of a Corvette as well, and it'll be vastly, vastly longer. And that's why strikes weren't particularly good with fighters and bombers. Basically, they get there, they shoot a bit, and then they'd be flying back to before they can really do anything. So you're kind of like losing out on all the damage potential realistically. Worked in fleets fine though. Introducing the anti-aircraft mechanism. When weapons lock on different targets, they usually adjust the parameters within the performance limitations to adapt to the target's characteristics. To better simulate this, we introduced the anti-aircraft special weapon working mechanism. Once the multi-purpose weapon have locked on the target, they will actively adjust their single shot firing rate and CD parameters by switching ammo or modes to perform better when facing different types of target. We have the Serenitatis anti-aircraft frigate here. And we can see on the left, we have the anti-aircraft special ammo, anti-aircraft high efficiency cycle, anti-aircraft high speed strike, and the counter-attack anti-aircraft still remains there. With the anti-aircraft high efficiency cycle is currently highlighted. Increase the weapon operating efficiency when striking an aircraft target and reducing the cooldown by an additional 10%. So it looks like we're going to get some flat buffs here. As you can see, it still says counter-attack anti-aircraft there as well, so I'm not sure what's going on quite there. But yeah, it's fine. Maybe this is to do with that, image a bit earlier, this one here, with the pre-targeting, and now counter-attack is pre-targeting. Either way, if that is just pre-targeting and it's waiting to be hit, it's kind of the same as just being hit and then counter-attacking anyway. The problem with the anti-aircraft frigate is the lack of, anti-aircraft ships in general, is the lack of, them being able to attack anything in the first place. And, it's all great having, say you have got, your Mer Tranquillatus and it has back row, wide ability to attack any aircraft in that row. But, your mid row is getting pounded by the aircraft. Your back row's not. And your Vetus, your Mer T's now doing nothing. And the problem is some of these anti-aircraft specific ships don't even have row wide, they have counterattack. Some of them have row specific, and that's not necessarily useful in some situations. And then you kind of have to sit there and go, well, things like the Winged Hussar AA uses a missile system. Why isn't that fleet-wide? It should be fleet-wide, it's a missile system. I can understand making the turrets counterattack and row wide, just not the missile systems. So we've got the Spore here, and this I'm guessing is going to do with one of the stealth mechanisms. When the aircraft is returning to the carrier, there is a 30% chance of ignoring enemy anti-aircraft weapons pre-targeting effect. Interesting. This is definitely going to be something I'm going to have to get into the server and test. I mean, I'm not sure how useful this is anyway, because it's not attacking ships, and if there's still counter-attack, it's a Spore. You're using it to, kill off enemy fighters, not frigates. Expanding the armor system concept. The armor system is an essential part of a ship, protecting the ship against kinetic energy damage. At the same time, we think the ship's armor value, should reflect the convenience of a ship's structural maintenance. With a higher damage resistance, with a great degree of structural protection system, the workload of repairing the unit's HP is reduced. With this worldview in mind, we have expanded the concept of the ship's armor system. The higher and thicker the armor a ship possesses while being repaired by UAV, the greater the repairment it will receive. Okay, so I understand this. Bigger, thicker armor equals shorter repair times, because the actual integral structure of the ship isn't damaged, it's just the armor where you're just replacing some metal panels. That makes sense. That's a good change. I like that. In case of ST-59s, that's probably going to cut you some serious time off, because that thing, if you got those down to 10%, they took hours to fix, and hopefully with this now, a little bit less time. Pilot server features. It has been over a year since Infinite Lagrange accompanied every explorer along the journey. I've been almost 2 years in game, I think in June or July, so we're not that far away. During which we received a lot of feedback and suggestions. We can distinctly feel explorers' concerns and expectations regarding the development of the Lagrange network. Based on this, we are preparing to launch a pilot server to build up an exchange platform where explorers can experience new gameplay and functions in advance, which is great. That means we can get in, we can give them, ideas and thoughts on what they're testing at the current time and if it's working as they think they're intending. I have a feeling I'm going to be spending a lot of time in here testing stuff out. But, it does help, because then, they go, well, this anti-aircraft system, we're going to have to get in there and test this because I feel it's not enough. And if they actually, work on that and we go back to them and go, yeah, it's not working, they go fix it, they give us, maybe take into our ideas into account, missiles being fleet-wide AA, for an example. Maybe we can get somewhere, because we have had more or less the same meta. Okay, there's been a slight variation now because we have the Jaeger Predator anti-carrier setup, which has now more predominantly become the main meta instead of just basic swarm. It's like an evolved swarm. Maybe some of these things we can get the meta changed up a little bit, try and make it a bit more balanced across all ship types, so you don't have to run swarm, you can run only ships instead of carriers, etc. The pilot server will be a new star system independent of the current available star system, so if that's like the Angulum, that means you can just join. Mainly used for releasing new game content that has not been released in the official star system, so that explorers can experience it in advance. Explorers can register for the pilot system pilot server through the corresponding event, and explorers who qualify will be able to enter and experience new gameplay content after the experience server launches. Feedback channels will also be established on the pilot server so that we can receive your suggestion and opinions as smoothly as possible. So something to note here is they have contacted me about a test server, and I'm guessing this is it. They've definitely given me, the ability to join. So they need to be careful with who they let join. Explorers who qualify will be able to enter and experience new gameplay content. You need to be careful who they let join a little bit. I'm not trying to be bad on the newer players, but newer players that don't grasp all the basic mechanics that are currently in the game may not quite understand what's going on. Some of the vets as well, you might not want in there because, I'm sure you've been on the servers with them. Current pilot server. This time the pilot server will use the star systems from the Dawn Exploration Agreement 2.0 as the experimental star system and make the battle mechanism updates available for explorers to experience. It's nice that they're doing this because it does let us test things, I guess. The current pilot server, you never know, we might even find devs in here to go blow up. If there's devs in here, right, what I'll do is I'll find out who the devs are, I'll tell you on YouTube, and then you can make all of your swarm fleets, and you just go at him. Go at the dev until he fixes them. See, that's the way to get them to do it. The current pilot server recruitment is available to all explorers who have completed one or more star system explorations, expanded their base to Zone 2. See, this is a problem. They need to have more than one under them to really get what's going on. Okay, some of them, might actually be, quick learners and quickly understand what's going on, but you're better getting the guys that are, server 10, server 9, that have been playing it for a year and a half, 2 years. We will launch the pilot server recruitment in the game on March 17th at 10:30. Explorers can go to the corresponding event page to view the details and register for it. The pilot server for this time will be become available for maintenance on March the 22nd. We will invite all explorers to participate in this pilot experience. It's going to be a pain because I'm actually on holiday from the 25th. I'll see if I can log in on shoddy internet abroad. Pilot server registration note. Due to this limited server capacity, pilot server eligibility to be randomly selected from the registered explorers. Please pay attention to the following. Opening time for the pilot server is March 22nd, 12, I'm guessing that's UTC, to March 29, 10 UTC. During this period, explorers who have not yet registered can still register for the event. The result of the pilot server recruitment will be announced after a certain period of registration via in-game mail, and the eligibility will be distributed continuously throughout the event period, during which explorers who have not yet registered can still register for the event, and explorers who have already registered for the event do need to register it again. There is a cut-off time for the experience of each character. Explorers will not be able to experience it once it reaches the cut-off time for the pilot server is closed. The content in the current pilot server doesn't represent the final quality of the game. Yeah, this is, it's a beta. It's a test server to test all this stuff out, and it's fine. I like this because, we can give them actual feedback on stuff that's upcoming instead of releasing something broken, kind of like the Mistral. Comes into the game, absolutely blows pretty much any other aircraft out the water in terms of AA, and if you're missing it, you literally lose most swarm fights because you're missing the one ship. No resource packages are required to download to participate in the pilot server. Eligible explorers can find the entrance to the pilot server on the server selection page after the pilot server has been launched. Blah, blah, blah. Explorers cannot recharge in the pilot server, and some features will be unavailable as well. Research, Dawn funding programs, basically the shop is shut down, and relevant resources will be sent to explorers via mail in the pilot server. So I'm hoping that's going to include blueprints of ships that are required for the testing, ones that have been changed. Because, like I said, they've opened it up to, Season 2 players, and they could go in and have nothing. None of the ships have been changed, so they need to be able to send at least the blueprints for them to test out. 3 explorers buildings in the base will be upgraded to the preset level, and the blueprints in the pro session will be granted 50 temporary tech points. As we upgrade to the preset level, so you just start at a base level, and the blueprints that we are to be testing will all have 50 tech points. 50 tech points isn't enough. It's over 100 to max most of these ships. And that's where you're really looking at balancing, because you need to balance at the top end as opposed to midway. If you balance midway, you could either change nothing at the top end, or not so sure about that. About providing feedback for the pilot server. The primary goal of the pilot server is for explorers to experience upcoming features, and it doesn't represent the final quality of the game. We encourage everyone to actively provide feedback and suggestions for the problems they encountered during the experience by tapping the survey button to enter the survey page anytime during the game. That's it for the preview of the battle mechanism and battle mechanics and pilot server features. We strive to create a realistic and exciting Lagrange network while paying continuous attention to the enjoyment of strategic battle combinations and balancing. We will pay attention to every new or veteran explorer's previous feedback. Thank you for your love and support to Infinite Lagrange. So, it's definitely heading in the right direction. I don't want to say too much because, like I said, this whole situation here with the original passive anti-aircraft mechanism we know doesn't work. We've been using it for almost 2 years now, some of us. We know it doesn't work. We have the new, preactively targeting mechanism. If this works and it fixes it in the way that everything's now fleet-wide and you're going to get shot from all weapon systems, it's fine. some of the weapon system of like such low damage potential that it's not really going to matter. Even if they are fleet wide, some could be horrendously scary. Wing to SAR AA has like serious potential to deal like really good anti-aircraft damage, but it just doesn't. And trust me, I've tested it. I currently have 10 of them on the front row of my fleet maxed, and they do nothing. Nothing. Anyway, so yeah, this potential here could be really good. But again, like I said, if this is just saying it's targeting the aircraft as it's going into attack anyways, instead of its, you know, the counter attack, it's going to be interesting to see. I'm just saying that because you look at the picture down here and it still says counter attack anti-aircraft. And it could just be because they haven't changed it yet in this image, or it could be something else. And they're just not going to do anything. We'll have to see. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Leave your comments down below on what you think is going to be happening. I will try and get some stuff done, hopefully before the holiday within the server, because I literally won't be able to record for 2 weeks from the 25th. So yeah, we'll have to hopefully, you know, be all right with that one. Like, as you've probably already worked out, I bulk record a load of videos recently to take a bit of a break from YouTube and for the holiday. So there is videos already set to come out, but I would like to try and get into server and get some videos out before I enjoy myself on holiday. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.